Welcome back to my channel, guys. I have had a few requests after the last video of my experience living in Mexico, and so many people on Facebook and Instagram wrote me like, why didn't you do one about Barcelona? Show us some pictures from Barcelona. And I remember telling myself like it was a reason that I was taking all of these pictures. And let me just tell you, Barcelona is so rich with culture, so rich. Like, again, places that I have been in Barcelona, or let's just say, let's call this just Spain, because I've been to places like Madrid, Barcelona, Sitges, Seville, Alicante, Gran Canaria Islands, Fuerteventura. And let me just tell you, there were things that I saw in this country, that I witnessed in this country, that I would live through in this country, of the parties in the streets, of the overly abundant amount of just party, like you can feel it in the air in Barcelona, from the vibrant clubs to the unprecedented amount of vermouth that I have drank, to the patata bravas and the paella, and even from some of the most scenic views from the tops of the mountain of Montserrat, which is a cathedral, or somewhat that we would look at it as more of like a church, but on this mountain, and you take this cable car up this beautiful scenic backdrop of ocean, and or this, in this case, the sea meets mountain, and you are always overly abundantly happy about everything. You can feel it in the air in Barcelona that it's a time to move your hips. It's a time to be alive. From the Playa de Marbella or Barceloneta, you have so many things to choose from, but that's just a few. You have Plaza Catalunya, Plaza España. You have so many different barrios or zones, we would call them neighborhoods, from Gótico to Raval to my favorite would be a Champla or Champleg. And you have so much hustle and bustle in this city, and I think a lot of people would think that Barcelona is huge, very huge. It's not, but you can really bike through the entire city. I think I have maybe 30 minutes, maybe 40 at the most. You can go from one end to the next for the center, the city center. But it's just one of those things that you never really know what you're experiencing. And I always tell people, though, one of the joyous things about living in Spain was I was able to go to so many different places: London, Madrid, Gran Canaria, Alicante, which is south, and Seville, south of Spain. But you also got to go to Paris, France, and you got to go to so many different places because it was so central in a way. And Europe is much more cheaper when you're talking about going through flights. I can catch a flight to London for maybe $100, and I can go to Gran Canaria Islands, which is, I think that's 4 hours away, but you can get there for $100 with no problem. But for me, I think it was the fact that the Spaniards can definitely party. I have to give them that. If I've never seen so many parties in the streets, or been to museums and they're outside in the front of the museums having a party, playing music, very vibrant, always full of life. I definitely can say that about Spain. And while the food was not my favorite, it still had a sense of history to it. When you ate the patata bravas, the paella, or you drank the vermouth, it was always a sense of, I'm in Spain. I remember always going out with my friends, and they would always tell me, man, you really drink only vermouth. And I was like, I want to feel like I'm in Spain when I'm in Spain. And I think for me, it was one of those things that I couldn't do anything but love where I was at, you know, from skating through the streets of Barcelona to biking to the streets of Barcelona, going to clubs, leaving the clubs at 6 a.m. I have never, ever clubbed the way that I did when I was in Barcelona. Like, it was an experience within an experience, from going out with my friends almost every weekend. And let me just say this, you can go out in Barcelona any day. It's a tourist city. So I remember when I first moved, I would go out on Tuesdays, Wednesdays. There's always a party, and people are always partying. One thing that I definitely can say is they take their siesta very serious. Things do close down in certain areas of the city for that hour to midday, you know? So I think that's where a lot of people took in consideration that I can party to 6 a.m., go home, sleep for a few hours, go to work, leave work for 2 hours, and, start it all back over. But I think the festivals that I went to, Sonar Festival, hands down, one of the best festivals I've ever been to in my life. It was with my friend Julia and Federico, and it was something that I had never seen or experienced. We were literally in a airport hangar, and it was so many people in this airport hangar. Like, you have to know how big an airport hangar is to understand this. But I remember just really embracing it and taking it in. And they would tell me, like, you don't have to go home until 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m. in the next morning. So you would go at 9 or 10, party all night, leave at 9 or 10 because the taxis had stopped at that point, and then you would just go home. But then there was the sense of how freaking beautiful the people were in Barcelona. I really appreciated that as well. And I mean, everybody from every country, it just seemed like every person that had the courage or that had just something in them that they wanted to display, they came to Barcelona, because there were some of the most beautiful men and women that I had ever seen in my life. There were times in Barcelona that were dark. I moved to Barcelona originally. I was engaged to be married, and we broke up. So that's when Barcelona turned for me, where it kind of got dark. But it wasn't because of Barcelona. I mean, outside of the people sometimes, which I did say all of this part in my bid to farewell to Barcelona video. I'll link it in the description and also add it onto the screen. It was just something that I was missing in Barcelona. I loved the city. I loved how vibrant it was. I loved Spain. I loved the way that the people treated me as well. I didn't like the way that the people treated each other. And I would hear often in my Spanish learning experience that the people didn't really treat each other with a lot of respect. But they had their own waging war between the Catalans and the Spanish and things like that. That's when it started turning for me that it was just a party city, and that I would have to see myself somewhere outside of this to build myself bigger than I am, And I was like, I'm already healing in a lot of areas in my life, but this city is going to hold me back in a way. So that originally was one of those things that I loved Barcelona for 2 years. I loved Barcelona for the parties, the drinking out late, the hanging out, all the different events, all the freedoms that you had. But then there were things that I was just like, yeah, we can't do this forever. So for me, that's why I wanted to share this experience with you guys, that Barcelona is absolutely amazing. If you're thinking about going, you're thinking about living there, you're thinking about wanting to go, absolutely do it. But just understand that it's one of those, I call it like a passerby city. It's like a Miami, it's like an Atlanta, it's like a LA. These aren't forever cities. It's a city that I will definitely be back in very soon. We'll definitely document that for you guys. But it's a city that I wouldn't see myself living in long term. because it's such a transit city. That's the word, transit. It's such a transit city that I wouldn't see myself living there for a long period of time. But definitely summer months, 1 month, 2 months, maybe 3 months per year, absolutely. So if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hopefully by this video, guys, we've hit 100,000. And I just want to let you guys know, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't even begin to put into words what it means to me. After I did the numbers that there's 32 million YouTube channels, but only 300,000 of them hit 100,000. And to be one of those lucky people, I'm just beyond grateful. I'm beyond grateful that you guys have come along with me on this ride. I know this has happened fast for the people that, people that knew that I stopped and started YouTube. And now, just in the last month or two, we have went from 1,000 subscribers to 100,000 subscribers. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So until next time, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And we can share with people now. Ciao, amigos. Hey, before you go, I need some help. Just by liking, commenting, and subscribing to my page, it allows me to keep expanding the Gothic trails. I don't do paid ads or promotional offers at all, but just by doing that little part, you keep allowing me to trailblaze these beautiful countries.